Good day. Welcome to this lecture series in Godot.
Hello, good day. Welcome back. In this video, we'll work on nodes. I want to mention one time that I'm recording here with Zoom. I was trying the last video I recorded with MailChimp. It was got a lot of background noise. I mean, yes, noise around me, yes, but I got a lot of background noise coming over. So I'll go back to recording with Zoom. So let's go ahead and get started. So we are in Godot, and this video will be about nodes. So it will be about nodes and scenes. So everything you do in nodes in Godot will be done with nodes. So different nodes, as we know, will have different properties. So we know that we saw the sprite here. So you have this sprite 2D. That's this one here. You can also select this sprite. This will have different properties from this background node. If you scroll here, it was a text direct. It will have different properties from the sprite 2D node. So if you want to understand this in a more simple, well, in a simpler way, think of nodes as ingredients. So you are making a dish, and to make the dish, you will need different ingredients. So think of the final game like the dish, and think of the nodes like the ingredients that will go in the dish. So as you can see here, the nodes inside of Godot is structured as a tree. And by this we mean there will be a root node. You notice level 1 is a root node, and all the subsequent nodes are children of, it will be, well, all other nodes will be children of some other node. So this here, the background, the text direct, is a child of the level 1, which is the node 2D. The sprite 2D is a child of the node 2D, as well as this other sprite 2D here. The spaceship here is also a sprite 2D. So all these nodes here will be a child of this root node here. And the reason why we're saying this is like a tree. And we want to mention, we also have a scene. A scene is a group of nodes that are organized in a tree. So if we go back here, we have this scene, level 1 scene. This scene is also this scene here. So in level 1, we have all these nodes in level 1. Well, we didn't create a level 2 because we started a new project. But in an earlier video, we saw when you create a new scene, we also saw there was a root node, which was a parent, and we had several nodes below the root node. So there was a same tree type structure with a parent and children, and essentially formed a scene. So in your game, let's say the game will start with the first scene, and the first scene will be your main menu. So you'll have, let's say, the title of the game, so on top here, and then you could say player start, character select, level select, quit, some character. That's a basic main menu. So that'll be one scene, and from that scene, you can go to a new scene. New scene will be level 1, then will be level 2, level 3. Let's say we go up to level 10. So there'll be the main menu scene. There'll be each level as a scene, and essentially when we combine all these scenes together, we have a game. So in Unreal Engine, we use the same concept, so we could have different levels, and you usually put the main menu on one level. You could put each level, well, obviously each level as a map, and then when you combine all these different levels together, all these different maps together, you essentially end up with a game right there. So it's the same concept. So in what you learn with let's say programming and game development, the same concept tends to apply over and over. I mean, each engine has its own unique characteristics. So it will not be 100% the same as another game engine, but certain key principles keep carrying over. So let me give you a challenge. Let's create, let's say, a character scene. So create a new scene for the player, and let the root node be a rigid body 2D. So we haven't covered that as yet, but let's see if we could figure it out. Okay, so to create a new scene, we have more than one way to do this. You can go to scene, new scene, to click this. We can click here, add a new scene. Or you could go on the keyboard and press Control N. And you need to add a root node. It was a rigid body 2D. Rigid body 2D. So you have it selected here. Click this. This is the root. And let's save the scene. We call this, yeah, leave it at rigid body 2D. So now let's add a sprite 2D. So I will type in here SPRITE. Click create, and you can add a UFO texture to it. So if you have the UFO here, you have the sprite selected, there's nothing text here. You can drag this across to here. You just drag this inside here. Then you could save the scene. We can play the current scene. And you click the current scene rather than this button because you don't want to click on this side. And to play this current scene here. And when it will drop out the area here because it doesn't have any box colors yet. But I mean, we are making progress. Let's go to transform. I want to reset the position. So I set this back to here. I will change it to rigid body. This rigid body 2D is really a physics node. So let's rename this. So we call this player 1. And let's, well, you have the select node here. You have this selected. You could drag this here. And let's just see it. Let's rename this. Player 1. So you see we renamed this and this gets renamed one time. You can save and press play because that's physics in English. So that's very good. You are making progress. So now what I want to do, so we saw when you press play, the sprite is falling off. So you put a player 1 here. You have the gravity scale, we set the gravity to 0. And now when you press play, we see that the sprite is not falling down because there's no gravity enabled on this physics object. So I mean, that's essentially what Godot is made of. It's really made of nodes and scenes. Every scene is made up of multiple nodes, and the game is really made up of multiple scenes. So, I mean, if you understand nodes and if you understand scenes, I mean, you essentially can understand development in Godot. So, I will end this video here because I just want to explain nodes and scenes in this video. So, in this video lecture, thank you.